So I've been growing vegetables at Riverford for 30 years. I love growing them, I love cooking them, I love feeding them to my friends. I am a complete and utter veg nerd. This is British seasonal veg. We've got Savoys, January King, Hispy cabbage. The problem is that no one knows how to cook it. You know, many people just don't have time, but I think probably a bigger issue is actually a lack of confidence in their own cooking skills. So I learned to cook in the kitchen with my mum, probably from the age of about 2. It was just going on all around me. I imbibed it. And, people are cooking less than half as much as they were 30 years ago. Those skills have been lost. They're not being passed on from generation to generation. So today, most people are more familiar with what to do with a pepper or an aubergine, neither of which are very happy in our climate. I mean, if you're lucky, they're in season for about 6 weeks in a polytunnel. Not at all outside, and very few people know what to do with a Savoy or a January King or a cauliflower or kale. Mostly we learn by doing things. We don't learn by listening to other people or even watching them doing it. You actually have to do it yourself. That's how you internalize it and make it your own. The sad truth is that we sell 4 times as many of these peppers as we do of all the cabbages added together. And the reason for that, I'm pretty sure, is that they use lots and lots of these on the telly and very few of these. I think there's this sort of gulf has widened between, the aspiration, as we see on the telly, which sometimes can be pretty fancy, and the reality of what's in season and the reality of actually having to get a meal on the table, sometimes when you're tired, when the kids are hungry and whatever. And, those practical skills are what we need to get back. So people seem to be intimidated by the kind of perfection of food produced by TV chefs or Instagram stars. Food isn't about perfection, it's just about getting something simple on the table which everyone can enjoy. So instead of helping people to cook, I really think that TV programs might actually be sapping people's confidence to do it themselves. The big question is, how do we get people cooking again, and in particular cooking with what's seasonal and what can be grown locally? And I think we've got to get people together, get people sharing. To my mind, there's nothing more fun than inviting a bunch of people around and cooking supper together and then going to the pub usually. It's a very sociable activity, and it is the best way of learning, by doing. We need to refine the pleasure in breaking up a curd of cauliflower or chopping up a cabbage. And I learned from my mother. I mean, how did you learn? We've got to get people up off their arses, off the sofa, stop watching it on telly and actually doing it, and preferably sharing that with their friends and their family. And, that's how I hope we'll get the nation cooking again. But I'd love to hear your ideas.